You can transfer and clone legendary effects from one weapon onto another, and in this video I'll show you how to do that in Fallout 4. Hi, I'm Mo and I'm trapped in Fallout. To use this glitch, or rather to transfer the legendary effect of one weapon onto another weapon, you will first of all naturally need a legendary weapon with a legendary effect on it. So in this case I happen to have the Ashmaker, which sets targets on fire for 15 points of damage. You will need 2 copies of the same type of weapon. So both of these are miniguns. Now I have tried it with sort of other types of weapons like a minigun and a pipe pistol, or a minigun and a combat rifle, whatever it happens to be. This doesn't work. You need to have the 2 weapons that are of the same type. And ideally you also want to have 2 weapons that have some random modifications applied to them. As part of this glitch, we're actually going to go ahead and remove a modification, and that's the thing that's going to basically trick the game into copying over the legendary effect. But more on that in a moment. What you will also need is a workbench, and you will need a trusted companion. To use this glitch, you need to have these 2 things. What we're going to do is, first of all, go ahead and open the trade window with Kate, and we're going to give Kate the non-legendary weapon. So in this case, I'm going to keep the legendary weapon and I'm going to give Kate the non-legendary weapon. That's step 1. Once you've done that, what you now need to do is have Kate standing next to the workbench, and we're going to go ahead and access this glitched menu. And this glitched menu is actually quite an interesting one. What you want to do is talk to your companion and press the trade button, and this will naturally open their trade menu. But before the trade menu opens, you want to quickly go to your workbench and press the craft button to open the craft menu. So you want to get to a state where you've asked your companion to trade, but before the trade menu opens, you want to press the craft button so that the workbench craft menu opens. And if you do it right, then both menus will basically be overlaid or sort of on top of each other. So I'm going to try and do this as best I can. So trade, and then craft. So I don't know if you saw that. It's quite tricky to do, especially if you're doing it for the first time. But here I've basically got both the crafting menu and Kate's trade menu both open at the same time. If you're seeing this, then you've basically done it right. Now, if you just randomly just sort of press buttons, or rather just go around, you will notice that you're actually controlling both the menus at almost the same time. So this is going to be quite tricky to do, but I'll try my best to explain it as best I can. The first thing you want to do is go to the weapon that you gave to your companion, and you want to take it back. So now Kate doesn't have any weapons. I've taken the weapon back. From here, what you want to do is make sure that you have some modifications selected. So in my case, I'm going to go ahead and select, say, the shredder. And now what you want to do, or rather actually no, we need to take the weapon back. Both weapons have to be in your inventory. What you now want to do is get to this state where you've got both the weapons in your inventory, and you've got the legendary weapon selected, and you're going to go ahead and remove a modification. So again, you could probably see this is quite tricky. I'm going to go ahead and select the no muzzle on the weapon crafting menu, whilst also having the legendary weapon selected in the trade menu. Just like that. And go ahead and accept it. Now, if you've done this right, then you should have this screen where the legendary weapon has now moved back over to Kate, but you've kept the non-legendary weapon. Now, if you go ahead and exit just once, and again, you should now notice that the weapon that's highlighted on the crafting menu has this incendiary effect, basically the name of the legendary effect. Now just go ahead and exit the whole process as normal. Now what we will do is go ahead and access Kate's trade menu.
Hey.
Have any goodies for me?
And go ahead and take the Ashmaker. You don't have to, but we're just going to do it for completion's sake. Now if you go into your own menu, you will notice that you've got the Ashmaker, and you've basically cloned the legendary effect onto your minigun. And this is basically how you clone legendary effects. So this was definitely very confusing, so I'll try and go over it one more time. You need to give Kate or your companion of choice the non-legendary weapon. You then need to open up the glitched trade menu and crafting menu at the same time. You then need to take the weapon back from Kate, and then you need to highlight your legendary weapon and remove a modification from it. And when you do that, as a result, what will happen is you will give Kate back the legendary weapon, but your non-legendary weapon will be converted into a legendary weapon. And again, lastly, make sure that you don't do this with two weapons that are not of the same type, because this is most likely going to crash your game. Being able to create multiple copies of the same legendary weapon is useful, as you can now give these weapons to your companions or even settlers. But did you know that you can reliably generate legendary weapons that you want? It is entirely possible to farm for a legendary weapon or a legendary armor using the Fallout 4 legendary farming technique. Click on the video you see on the screen now and I will show you how you can reliably generate the legendary weapon or legendary armor that you want in Fallout 4, as opposed to just relying on the game randomly giving you a weapon or armor.